I'm just going to go throw a different hoodie on here.
Yeah, no worries.
This is the Rubber Boots Podcast, Season 8 of the podcast, brought to you by BetSafe.net.
BetSafe.net.
Thank you for joining us, we'll sure you have no regret. Even we can't believe we're not canceled yet. We're gonna tell some stories, we're gonna have a good time, you know for sure, we're gonna have a laugh. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. 100% free.
100%. That's it.
This is the podcast. This is the podcast.
BetSafe.net.
This is the pod.
That's it.
This is the podcast. This is the pod. This is the podcast. This is the pod.
BetSafe.net.
So I follow this new follow on the Instagram called Savage Wilderness. All right, it pops up a video. You know, the videos pop up in your Instagram, and there was some cool video of a hippopotamus eating a gazelle or something. I'm like, whoa, cool. I'm like a 9-year-old. I got to follow these guys. Savage Wilderness. I instantly regretted it because it's like disgusting stuff. Like the first video pops up is a mountain lion scaling this 10-foot high fence and taking a little dog out. I don't know what country this was in. And the poor little dog was like scraping at the door and screaming because he knew the mountain lion was coming. So anyway, this just happened last night. Disturbing. Happy New Year, by the way. Welcome to the Rubber Boots Podcast brought to you by BetSafe.net.
Welcome to Season 8, where we're all terrified.
Season 8, Episode 1. Well, this is gonna get worse. Stoff, Lester, and Puffy and Jimmy are your cast. The cast, I guess, the cast of the show. Yeah. We went through elaborate casting before season 1.
We won the search.
Shows history. Yeah, that was about 600 people who applied for the role of Puffy. All these characters were written. People don't understand. All these characters were pre-written.
Yeah.
Except
I drive a fabulous car.
Like Lost, we only wrote about 3 episodes, and we've been waiting. The writing team has been winging it since, and they've been really confused.
Yeah.
So, that went down the wrong tube. So, I follow Savage Wilderness. I immediately get terrified. I unfollow Savage Wilderness. Then this morning, real life Savage Wilderness.
Oh no.
We're not talking the bunny in the backyard with the headless bunny, season 6 or something.
That's your son murdered.
Well, Jared's not in town anymore.
As a matter of fact, I have the answer to the headless bunny mystery right now.
Moved to Guelph.
Jared, yeah.
Brooksy,
we know.
Jimmy.
Brooksy killed the bunny?
Brooksy, Jimmy, and Darian. Darian has a hypothetical coming a little bit later on the show.
Oh, nice.
I like how she's owning that segment.
I know. She's taking it over. It's awesome.
We go for a walk with Hugo. Okay. Hugo has on a brown sweater because Brooksy likes to dress up Hugo probably from Saks Fifth Avenue or something.
Vortex.
Big long walk. We're in the woods. I'm throwing a little ball. Hugo has this little rubber ball he likes. So Jimmy throws it ahead. Hugo goes, fetches the ball. This continues throughout the walk as Brooksy and Jimmy throws the little rubber ball. Out of a tree, a giant owl.
Oh, no.
Swooping down on Hugo.
Oh,
so immediately, we're probably, I'm not like 20 feet behind where I throw the ball. Jimmy doesn't have his high school arm anymore. and so obviously Brooksy and Darian and Jimmy, we all like, ah! And the owl gets about 3 feet away and then swoops back up and lands in a tree right there. So we stop and talk to the owl. Brooksy's very angry. She's very protective of her kin. She picked up a stick and I'm like, Brooksy, are you going to throw that stick at the owl? What is wrong with you? And she said, no, I'm just going to defend in case he comes back. So this was, we looked it up. Brooksy looked up. It was a gray owl, which I guess are the largest owls in the wilderness. Beautiful, beautiful bird. But within inches of grasping her talons, his or her talons, I don't know which owl attacks, into my Hugo. Question is, Hugo's a 30-pound dog. He's a big, sturdy Frenchie.
Yes.
She couldn't have lifted Hugo
Oh,
off
I
the
think
ground.
so. I think
No.
so.
think?
I
don't
think
think
if she
so.
could have, she would have. I think what happened was she got close enough and realized it was too big.
No, I think she was scared by our. was scared by our. screams,
Absolutely
one or
not.
the
She
other.
would have clawed your eyes out.
So she
Yeah,
thought
that's true.
Hugo, as you know, is a gray Frenchie, which looks like a squirrel. Like he looked like a giant
Oh.
fat
Mhm.
squirrel. Do you think that's what happened, Lester? That she mistook him for a giant fat squirrel?
I look. Was actually a question for you. Was the dog on a leash or no?
The dog was on a leash, but running free. So we leave it. We have him on the
You
leash,
let the
but
leash go.
throw the ball. The leash
Yeah.
is dragging along
I
beside.
see.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I think that's entirely possible. The owl assessed the situation and decided not to take the dog. I think that's what it is. Here's my other question: when you guys started talking to the owl, when it responded, did it go? Woo.
yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, just kept asking who.
That's what it said.
ridiculous.
And then it spun his head 360 around, which is an amazing thing that owls can do. I think if there was any animal trait I could have, I would have the owl's ability to spin 360. my
So
head
you wouldn't
around.
want to fly.
Oh, yeah.
No, you,
maybe that.
you just want to spin your head
That's true.
360.
That sounds good. What time of day was this?
Be good in a fight. This was this morning, so it would have been around 10 a.m.
So aren't owls nocturnal?
I do not believe so. Clearly, this owl is not nocturnal.
Well, maybe-
It was, or has sleeping issues.
Yeah.
He was hungry.
What's happening?
Anyway,
Wow.
I've seen a couple of owls. I've seen an owl like that in our backyard before, as a matter of fact. So they're frequent our trails. But okay, so the owl could probably not have lifted up Hugo, 30-pound dog, but if we had not have yelled, would its talons have dug into Hugo and caused damage and possibly
Yes.
Sure.
would it
So,
gone?
yeah.
Do the
You're
owls
a
go
hero,
for the
Jimmy.
head?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
yeah, that's what I'm going for is the heroism.
Mhm. I think so.
Yeah.
No, but do you think the owl would have done damage? If,
Yeah, you
If
saved
it tried
yourself.
to pick him up, absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
you
yeah,
saved
yeah,
yourself
yeah, yeah.
$5,000 in vet bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I imagine
Okay.
that your vet planted that owl in those woods. He knows
He,
you'll spend.
he was remote controlling it.
It wasn't
Owl
even a real
drone?
owl.
He spent a little too much at Christmas. He needed some Duffy cash.
Anyway, very terrifying incident.
Of course. Of course.
And I feel like it was karma on me for following the Savage Wilderness account that I was exposed to it, and then it happened to me in real life, and so I've unfollowed. Now, I guess I haven't, but I will unfollow Savage Wilderness. I'm not trying to advertise Savage Wilderness on here, okay?
Well, it's funny because over the holidays, I was with a buddy, and he told me I should start following Nature is Metal, and it seems very similar.
Oh.
It's a lot of animals attacking animals.
Oh.
I don't know if that's this thing something it's hot right now. People are
Wow.
into it.
Is it on the TikTok? Is it hot on the TikTok? You know what's
I
hot, you know
think
what's
it's
hot on the
Instagram.
you know what's hot on the TikTok right now?
I know, and it's
This guy.
Yeah, this is. I knew it was going to either go one way or the other. It was either you guys were going to completely ruin it and turn it into Facebook, or you were going to blow up. And unfortunately, it seems that you've blown up the TikTok. I heard you had a
I don't know,
viral one.
Puffy. You've been on the TikTok for months. I've been on the TikTok
I don't
for like a
TikTok
week.
though. I just watch the TikToks.
Is TikToking
Hey,
a verb?
you need those people too.
I don't know.
No, absolutely.
You need someone
Yeah,
to watch.
I'm a
So you
frequent
don't have an
watcher.
account, puppy? You don't have
I
an account?
do, but I don't ever post.
Oh.
If
Do you have
those
like an
pictures
egg?
ever got
Do you
out.
have your face in the thing, Puffy? Like,
I don't even know.
can I look you up, or is it one of those little?
I think I probably
accounts.
do.
Do you follow me on TikTok?
I don't
Puffy?
think I do. I know I followed Darian and
What?
Gracie.
Whoa,
I feel like-
whoa.
I don't.
This is-
Okay, so
Yikes.
so
Podcast is about to end. Season 8 episode.
I'm at the
1.
World Juniors. RIP. We'll get into that in a second.
Oh,
And
right.
there's a guy. Does any of you remember? You wouldn't remember probably stuff. Lester might. Puffy, I'm not sure. But years ago, one of the first goofy pieces I did for TSN was for Trade Center. I think it was my second Trade Center. So I'm going to say 2004 or something. And, we always make such a big deal about trades. So I found the most minor trade I could possibly find that helped Colorado the year Colorado win the Stanley Cup. It was a trade between, they sent Paxton Schulte and they acquired Vetikoski. It was a minor league deal. Vetikoski played one game for Colorado, and I turned it into a satire. I interviewed Mark Crawford, who said Vetikoski was the reason that got them over the top.
But they lacked the one man they knew could lead them to hockey's holy grail. He belonged to the Calgary Flames. His name was Vesa Vetikoski.
He will go down as one of the all-time great athletes in the world.
Stick handling was just phenomenal, and the passes were accurate, and they're flat.
Vesta Kitavoski.
But to get him, the Avs would have to give up Alberta-born legend Paxton Schulte, a man dubbed the next one by his mother.
I remember when I got the call to break the story, I took my cell phone out and I said, what? My hand was shaking. Vetikoski for Schulte? Vetikoski for Schulte? Are you kidding me?
Schulte. Paxton Schulte.
This is a great day for our hockey fans in Colorado.
Paxton Schulte was one of the players involved who was playing in Ireland and played along with me at the time. So Paxton Schulte happens to be in the crowd at the World Juniors, sitting a section over from me. So he yells at me. He's like, Jimmy. I'm like, it's Paxton. I'm like, hey, Paxton. And he's got his teenage kid next to him. And then he yells out, my kid follows your daughter on TikTok.
That's awesome.
What the hell's going on here?
That's great. By the way, I do remember that piece. Very funny.
Thank you, Lester. Thanks for your support. You're the only one.
Great job
as the man for ESPN Classic, you would know.
So, Jimmy,
anyway,
what do you do on the TikTok, or do you guys just do the trendy dance challenges, or what?
Well, that's my next phase. Like, I've only posted 3 TikToks. Okay. I posted one TikTok just with me and Bob in studio. And well, you see with the TikTok, I'm just learning. Okay. But there's sounds that are like trends. So a sound will come out. It might be a song, right, Puffy? Or it might be just some dialogue from a movie.
Some dialogue or something.
And everybody uses their TikTok from it. So I saw this one. I don't know what it's from. And it's like this sort of romantic music. And the guy says, you ever look at your person and say, how did I land you? And so all these guys take videos of their wives and their girlfriends, right? And some of them are serious and some of them are funny. Like she'll be picking her nose. So I just did it with Bob McKenzie, right?
Yeah.
Romance, me and Bob. So that TikTok did pretty good. And so then Darian, who's kind of my TikTok producer, she said, Dad, there's this other one you got to use that everybody's doing. That's called, it's just some sound where the guy says, what does he say? Puffy, he says, must be nice. I won't be like you, my boy. Right? It must be nice. I want to be like you, my boy. And so me and Bob did something with the Bobby Margaritas.
Nice.
Bobby's got his own. Now that's where that just took off. It went TikTok viral, right, Puffy? So
yeah, it was a lot of people.
Yeah, and then so that was the point where I decided that I was gonna, and this is the news of today's podcast, that I'm gonna resign from TSN.
You're quitting. You're a personality.
I'm moving
Please
to LA.
take me with you.
I'm gonna be living in a mansion with what's her name? Charlie DeLandrio. What's her name?
DeMeo.
Charlie DeMeo? No,
Yeah.
DeMello.
Maybe DeMello. Yeah,
Charlie DeMello.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of hers.
Oh, who else is on the TikTok?
I don't know who that is.
Who else is big on the TikTok?
She was the first TikTok right now.
She was the first TikTok person to have 100 million followers. That's what I was told by my TikTok producer. So we're gonna live together in a mansion, not in a romantic way. She's only like 18, but just with a bunch of
content,
just a bunch of other TikTokers, and we're gonna do TikTok content, and I'm gonna make a lot of money, and that's what I'm gonna do. So It was a good time. I don't know whether I'll keep the podcast going or not while I'm in my mansion in LA with Charlie D'Amelio and all the other TikTokers.
I think you'll have time to do it.
All right. But I just don't know if this content is worth it when all my TikToks go viral.
That's true.
And plus, betsafe.net is probably going to sponsor my TikTok account.
betsafe.net.
They realize there's a lot of value.
Sponsorship.
So then, here's what I learned about TikTok, though, Puffy. And here's the point I'm trying to make. Then the World Juniors got canceled. It was a very, very sad day. And one of my camera operators at the World Juniors took a video of me looking sad. And he just sent it to me and said, man, you look so sad. And so I posted on TikTok with some sad music, Sound of Silence, right?
Mhm.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
Just, I was a lark. I was just trying to lighten up the day, really.
Mhm.
But I realized the only reason this TikTok went viral was not that it was a brilliant TikTok, but people came to that TikTok to debate the cancellation of the World Juniors.
Oh, okay.
And
is there comments on TikTok?
yes. And this is what the anger on TikTok. There's a lot of anger and mean comments.
Really?
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Not about me per se.
I'm signing
Although
up
there were,
now.
Of course not
Although
about you.
I did tell Darian when one of the TikToks I posted with Bob, it wasn't like the best lighting or angle of my face, and a couple people were like, "Oh, Jimmy, you got old fast."
Oh, that's just
And I said to Darian, why are people being so mean to me on TikTok? I can't handle this.
Are you able to report those tweets?
I don't think so. She said, "Oh, Dad, TikTok's the worst. You have to be able to. You have to be thick-skinned. TikTok is the most venomous place out there, Puffy."
But it also can tell. People are saying like you're so hot too. There's the other side.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of you're so hot.
Yeah,
it wasn't actually any of those. Damn it!
Don't worry, Jimmy. Give it time.
Well,
there will
I've
be.
got a few of those. I have an egg.
Those DMs will lead to good things, Puffy.
This, obviously, we were talking together in our chat about COVID, and we like to keep the Rubber Boots Pod a mostly COVID-free zone because it's such a dark cloud that hangs over us. And we should
move it to Florida then.
Yes, exactly.
They cured COVID.
It's so damn depressing that we try to give you a break from it on this pod. So we don't want to get we'll touch on it probably with the World Juniors, but we don't want to spend a lot of time with it. But this particular video that I sent out just brought out, polarizing views on this is ridiculous that this should be canceled and so on and so forth. And everybody else defending. And man, it got nasty. And so now I've realized that my presence on TikTok is a vehicle for debate and hatred. And I'm not sure if I want to be used in that way. So I'd like to announce I'm no longer leaving TSN to go live in a mansion with Charlie DeMello. I've decided to stay. So 2 news conferences in one.
Now, unfortunately, TSN did void your old contract. So you are now going to have to negotiate terms in a confusing time and climate. Good luck to your agent.
Would it be hilarious, though, if you still hosted you host the Super Bowl, but on TikTok, and it's a live thing?
Pretty good. It's a future.
Pretty good, actually.
It would be good.
Pretty good, actually.
So, yeah.
You're welcome.
I guess let's get into the week that was.
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duffy and the Rubber Boots Podcast crew.
First of all, before we get to the World Juniors, I've been talking, as I usually do. As a TikTok star, I tend to dominate the podcast. But how was all your Christmases? Let's start with Stoff, who has a beautiful photo of Betty White behind us.
Oh, that's Betty White.
R.I.P. to the great Betty White.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
People forget what a beautiful young woman. Like this woman was a star in like 1940.
40 something.
Imagine being a
22?
star. 22. So she was probably a star in her 20s. So like 1940s, she's a star. And she remains a star.
The star right to the end. Amazing.
Yeah, crazy.
Amazing.
Imagine being a star for like 80 years. It's unbelievable.
Pretty good.
And I also always stood up against inequality and stuff like that on a lot of different levels. So
Animal rights and the whole bit.
Great person in general. So
right. Sorry. How was your Christmas stuff?
It was it wasn't, I guess, your regular Christmas, but it's,
I guess it's hard to say how's your Christmas without bringing up COVID. But apart from COVID.
Yeah, it was a nice little quiet Christmas, but saw.
Besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? There's a 90-year-old joke for you. Thank you, everybody.
Betty White loved that one.
Should I put that one on TikTok?
Betty would have enjoyed that.
Betty White liked that one at 21.
Her and Larry King.
Don't put it on TikTok. They will not know what that is.
Maybe that should be my persona on TikTok, is I just do like 100-year-old jokes.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I guess Stoff's happy because his Eagles are in the playoffs. I don't really understand. I do understand there's tiebreaker rules, but kind of upset that the Eagles are in the playoffs with the
But
same
you got
record as
Trey
the
Lance
Niners,
as your
who are not
quarterback right now, and that's a bit of a problem.
They're in problems there.
Jimmy Garoppolo is the perfect backup, or is the perfect quarterback to be good enough to get you in a playoff race, but never good enough to win,
or
and not bad enough to get you a high draft pick. Well, okay, 1 year. That was our.
Yeah.
That was this is a Super Bowl team without a Super Bowl quarterback, as we were 3 years ago, whatever, when we made the Super Bowl.
With a game manager quarterback who should be able to.
He's not bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I think
he messed
he's a
up
bit
his thumb
above
the other day too. He's above average.
Yes,
but not elite.
He's not the Tom Brady you thought you were
know.
getting in the trade.
Yeah,
right.
Lester, how was your Christmas, buddy? Outside of the C word.
Well, listen, I will tell you, I had a very pleasant Christmas, very quiet, just myself and my folks, and my lady came over for dinner, which was nice.
Whoa. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I have a
Bet
lady.
safe. Breaking news.
Bet safe.
Breaking news.
Wow.
I had 2 news conferences already about
bury
my TikTok,
the lead.
and you buried the lead of the entire podcast.
Wow. Oh, listen. It's somewhat new. I'm just keeping it under the wraps for now.
Oh, so we don't want to discuss. Don't want to name any names yet. You want to. You don't want to bring her
hold
into
on.
the.
If it's
rubber
Brandy,
boots
we need to know. If it's
It's
Brandy,
not
that has
Brandy.
to be.
It's never.
Okay,
Listen,
not Brandy.
Brandy and I have never been more than friends. That's all. That's it. That is. So, but so she came over, which is nice. But listen, I'll tell you, I'm one of those guys where, you know what, I'm just fine with just a nice quiet Christmas. That's what I like anyway. It was very, very quiet, and I appreciated it. Just chill.
We enjoyed your Christmas songs as always. You do a fantastic job on those, buddy.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And if you haven't listened, we played at the end of the last pod or 2 pods ago. I got confused because we were doing non-linear podcasting before Christmas.
Well, we did one of each. I think we did 2 older ones heading into.
Yeah, we did
Christmas
2 older
break,
ones.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
I didn't write a new tune this year, unfortunately. I just things got out of hand, but I repackaged an older tune, and I'm very pleased with it. So sometimes you got to get off your own back, you know.
I have exciting news for you, Lester. Darian was doing some cleanup the other day, and she discovered. I can't show you really. She discovered this little thing that I don't know what it's called. It's like a hard drive that contains all of the home movies I shot for 20 years. Back before the days of iPhone. That's not 20 years. So I got the camera because I went through it. I bought the camera in 1997, back when there were those big ass video cameras. And so I probably kept it for 7 years until, when did phones start?
Probably like 05, 06 would have been.
Yeah, something like that.
Is there evidence of Daddy Bath on there? Because you might want to wipe that bad boy clean.
There is stuff on here that could end my career. There's no doubt about it. But there is also a treasure trove of material from Hauling Ass.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
And it's
the Hauling Ass World Tour.
It is quite something. I gotta just for our fans on YouTube, because this is special YouTube material. I don't know how this is going to work playing my camera. This is a video we shot. Oh, wait a second. This is one of the songs I'm going to give Lester to record. This is hold on, let's see. This is me, Jimmy.
Oh my god.
My underwear.
Well, it's Jimmy's Jimmy.
This is Mark Ward
boy.
and my friend Scooter in the shower. This is our video for the song Map of the Stars.
I can't really hear the audio, but I don't think that matters.
You can't really hear the audio.
No, I know you can't. It just gets a little wilder after that. So,
oh my god,
this is what we did. The sad thing about this is that we are about 28, 29 years old at this point in time.
I figured you were about 17 or something.
29.
You're still finding
my fans
yourself.
were a different level of idiocy. So I have some Hauling Ass tapes. I'd forgotten about that song. There's a ballad on here I found that we also did a video for.
Oh my god!
There's all sorts of fun on here.
Nice.
Pretty damn exciting. So, Puffy, how was your Christmas?
It was good. Went up to my in-laws as usual. Santa came, which is big.
Oh.
And My Barrett got a phone, so that's big. I got to start figuring out how to.
That's the end.
To watch.
Barrett actually, he was one of the guys who commented on my TikTok video. It said Barrett C, and it said, "Yo, Duffy, you look old as." And I'm like, "Whoa,
old AF."
It's true. He's live.
Yeah, that's the phone time is dangerous. I'm going to cop to the fact right now that you know how parents are supposed to control the phones, grab the phone, see what the kids are looking at. I never did that with any of my kids. I did the reverse philosophy was I'm not going to check your phone. I'm not going to do anything until you screw up somewhere elsewhere. And then I will take the phone away. I believe I had to take a phone away from a child once or twice for a week, but it was for something else they did. I never actually checked their phone. So Jared could be, he could be a pimp for all I know.
Or a rabid murderer.
I definitely won't be saying let's all put our phones on the table and see what's up.
Let's check our browser history.
Destroy.
Don't take my phone away.
Yeah, my kids have the Trump
without
there.
it for another day.
Yeah.
We should play. Did anybody get what was your favorite Christmas present? None of your loved ones are going to be watching. What was your most beloved Christmas present?
Sure.
This shirt that I'm wearing is a nice shirt.
Oh, an Eagles hat. Very nice.
Nice.
Show me that shirt, Lester. Get up and flex a little bit. What?
Nice.
What's it got?
Flex, but
what's it? What is on the shirt? Is that 4 penis?
Saxophones.
Saxophones. Yeah.
Oh, saxophones.
Saxophone.
Oh,
maybe.
I thought it was four different colored
Saxes.
penises. Just to say, all the penises in the world need to come together in 2020.
Representing the four of us. Yes, it's a rubber.
They all need to do what now?
Shirt.
Well, we all know we wouldn't fit Stoffs on there.
Oh,
it's on the back.
I'm still trying to get past.
That's the entire back.
That's a season 1 joke.
I'm just trying to get past the fact that you said they all need to come together.
Just one time.
Oh, well, look at how is the UPS guy here? Christmas is over, and yet the UPS guy is still stopping here.
Because you've been flashing that stack.
No, Jimmy, he thought you were still in Edmonton.
You didn't hear about the World Juniors.
Let's see. Wait a second. He's spraying
downstairs
package.
Spraying cologne. Let's see. I have a mobile phone today, so I'm just so you guys know that it's not.
He's on the
mobile.
mobile.
I'll lie. It's a UPS. Oh, maybe it's a UPS gal today, which would really
Brooksy.
But if
the sunshine,
if it's a guy now, he's gonna be offended. Going to be offended by your comments. Sure takes sweet ass time coming up here. Brooksy and I, we had one parcel that was on the front porch, and we went for a long walk with the dog, and we came back, and there was a strange car in our car lot. Hold on, the UPS guys here. Just
interview. Time.
Hello.
This is our Tuesday.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Darian Duffy, what a shocker! Genetic.
Now, is Darian?
Aaron, you got something from the UPS guy?
Is Darian on your payroll or on her own payroll?
Darian's on my payroll. She's got a Visa card with a $1,000 limit.
That's pretty good.
That's more than me.
That's pretty good.
It's more like to pay for food and groceries at university or whatever. Although there's a lot of
does she ever
stuff
say
that pops
like,
up on
"Dad,
there.
you haven't made your minimum payment yet this month"?
Yeah,
you're hurting my credit score.
Jared just went out on his own, got his own credit card. So that's the first kid who I'm.
Nice.
Lou, I always thought you lost the kids.
The leash.
Apparently, you don't cut the leash for a while now. Like I was asking Bobby Mack about this. I'm like, when are these kids off the payroll?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it takes to like 28, 29 to get. He was like still paying their car insurance to like 28 or something like that. I'm like, no, once they got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes they don't get full-time jobs for a few years.
Call Bobby.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The hell were we talking about before the UPS? Oh yeah, sorry. So Brooksy and I, there's a little strange car parked out near our house, and there's also a big parcel on our porch. We didn't put 2 and 2 together. Brooksy and I take Hugo for a walk, and Brooksy's like, "Should we be suspicious?" And there was a woman in the car, I could tell, and she was kind of like fiddling in her passenger seat as if she was trying not to look at us.
Get a gun.
And we're like, well, this is something going on. So we start walking back, and Brooksy's like, what if that woman's one of those people that takes your parcels off the steps?
Porch pirate.
Right?
Yeah.
We figured out halfway through that she was a porch pirate and had stolen. Sure enough, we come back, parcel no longer there. Wow. So we are cursing this woman. Why didn't we get her plate? Yeah. Right? Come inside. The Darian had brought the parcel inside, and the girl was Gracie's friend coming to say hi. So we painted her as a villain a little bit prematurely there, maybe. A premature response.
That's why they have trials in this country.
It was an big owl swooped down and took the package.
That's right.
Would have been.
You're right though. In the 1800s, we would have burned her at the stake already.
Stoned her to death
before we had found out who she was.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we get into? Did anybody come up with a favorite gift, by the way, besides Stoff and his Eagles hat?
Am I sure?
Lester's penis shirt.
I got. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm wearing. I got. My kids brought me a pair of Asics runners. The Asics, I thought were kind of old man shoes. I don't know if you guys can.
Did your kids buy you that with your money?
Yes, probably.
And they're very much old man shoes.
That's not true, Puffy. This shows you that you are not up to the times. Jared, 22 years old and hip, told me that Asics is back in as a brand now.
Yeah, you know what he said just before that? Hey guys, why don't you convince my dad that he's wearing cool shoes? He falls for it every time. Hey, Dad.
Look at
just some of the new.
Look at you, idiot. My Asics. I have fat feet, all right, and Asics are the fattest shoe that fit my fat ass feet. Yeah, all right,
that's it. Yeah.
So back off. I feel very good in them, and I'm comfortable. And I'm at the age where comfort matters. All right. Now, if I was going to go back and live at the TikTok mansion with Charlie D'Amelio, then I would probably have to get something a little hipper than Asics. But for now, for a podcast, they're a damn fine podcast shoe. Got my podcast shoes and my podcast pants on today. Woo! We should probably get to the let's get to the real podcast now. Have we started yet? Are you rolling?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Got
this is it, folks.
My computer, my printer wasn't working today. Can any of our viewers just recommend a printer that's easy to use? Like, printers have been the bane of my existence. You know that guy on the commercial?
What do you still use a printer for?
Stuff you got to print stuff sometimes. You got to print stuff. Kids still have to print files, printing things. You know, paper stuff you need on paper. I'm
an HP man myself.
I've gone paperless.
Yeah, I have an HP printer. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm following along with Christoph's missive today on my computer, just so you know that I read it. Why don't we get to? Don't forget, I was going to do an episode. I promised an episode of Jimmy's Summer Adventures. Work that in somewhere.
Coming in summer 2024.
Work that into your missive somewhere. Things that I saw on Twitter.
Freaky pics, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
Things that I saw on Twitter. I logged into Twitter today, and it appeared that somehow the Washington football team had leaked the name of their new nickname that they'll be going with. Shocking, because I mean, this is an organization that's so on top of things.
Yeah, the worst. Maybe the worst organization in professional sports. That's probably questionable, but right up there. It's certainly one of the most deplorable, anyway.
Yeah,
deplorable. Yes, deplorable is a good word.
Yeah. So by the time people listen to this on the weekend, we probably may have an answer to this. Correct?
Well, the name that has leaked, it hasn't been confirmed because they will confirm the name on February 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
But it is the Admirals. So an admiral is one of the highest ranks you can receive in the Navy.
Yeah.
You like it, dislike it. Personally, I think they should have just stuck with Washington football team. It almost looks like what the
Yeah.
Washington football team.
the shirts could be close, right? Like, I don't know. I liked it. Washington football team, straight to the point.
I would have gone something more. It's like something. What's synonymous with Washington? Like
corruption.
The Lewinsky's. Washington Lewinsky's.
Yeah, the Oval Office.
You go to change your color to blue, a little stain on the logo.
Oh, that's
hey, but that's a 90s joke or a 2000s joke. That's better than my earlier 1800 jokes. Okay, all right. The Admirals. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that name, but
are they going to change the colors?
I would assume not.
Probably not. No one likes to do that because now you're messing with brand and stuff.
Heritage.
And you risk alienating.
Yeah, you want to tie back to that original name as much as possible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to change anything.
Yeah. Okay, the Jewish aspic. That was from Bar Down's Jesse Pollock. Now, this didn't actually look like aspic, but you're referring to a version, like a Jewish food that nobody likes that they have, right?
Yeah, so that's what I gathered from his tweet, and I'll just put it in my background here quickly so you boys could see it.
Oh,
right there.
Oh, that looks
I didn't know you
good.
could do that.
That actually, to me, it
looks like
look bad.
lasagna. It looks like a white,
Looks like
white
lasagna or macaroni pie.
That looks way better than aspic.
Way better.
Well, it seems to be put down a lot by people who actually eat it. I looked up online. Kugel is the name of this fabulous treat, and it is a baked pudding / casserole made from noodles or potatoes, which was a little odd for me because that's a kind of a vague description. It's like anything could be in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Does look good though.
Yeah.
But that looks more appetizing than aspic.
That's no cottage cheese, green onions, and tomato
Jello
sauce or whatever in a Jello mix. No. So we approve. Maybe some of our Jewish listeners can tell us if they're a big fan of Kugel. The Washington Kugels, another good name.
Alrighty, let's move on to the Washington Kugels. We have this clip from Wheel of Fortune. We had a clip.
Yeah, this is outrageous.
This is
roll it.
I saw this.
Let's roll it.
What are you doing is the category. You have 10 seconds to try to talk it out. Good luck.
Choosing the right card.
No.
Choosing the right word.
You know, this one's tough because you said all the right words, including the word, but as you know, it's got to be more or less continuous. We'll allow for a little pause, but not 4 or 5 seconds. I'm sorry, you did a good job in getting it, but we can't give you the prize, and it was the Audi. Oh man.
Pat Sajak, what are you doing?
Okay, a couple of thoughts here. Number one, just recently in the last month, another sign of my aging, that I've become a Wheel of Fortune fan. We've kind of locked into the Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy hour. Brooksy has become because Wheel of Fortune makes you feel smart, and then Jeopardy makes you feel dumb. Yeah. And there is currently, as we record this, a woman on Jeopardy who's like, right. By the way, Ken Jennings, as a host, I'm a professional host. You might not know, he does a very good job. This guy's not only the smartest guy in Jeopardy history, but he hosts that show very well. And he brings it all sorts of credibility. And I know it's still like part-time host, but I think Ken Jennings is the perfect host for Jeopardy. A, because you can tell he knows the answer to every question and he gives an explanation without having to read any cue card. He just knows the answer to every question because he's that smart. He's a damn good host. He makes little quibs, makes some good little host quibs. Big fan of Ken Jennings. Anyway, there's a woman right now who's won more. I think she's the highest winning woman and 4th or 3rd highest winning contestant in Jeopardy history. She's so damn smart. Wow. It's terrifying. Brooksy and I, we get really excited when we get one answer. And then at the end of a show, we might have like 4 or 5 answers right. And we'll be really excited. But we also answered like 27 wrong. So we'd be at minus 12,000. Jeopardy's a hard game.
Your buzzer skills might not be that good, which can play to your advantage.
So do you know that when you go on Jeopardy, apparently they tailor the categories to the contestants?
Oh, I did not know this. What if you had 3 different contestants?
Well, you do have 3 different contestants. I think there's there's 6
categories. No, I meant
categories per.
Yeah, so let's say
I think they give them 2 categories each into the areas that they'll excel in. Basically,
that's good.
Oh, Puffy would be masturbation for 600.
No, it'd be adult film stars.
Porn adult film stars,
and teams in the AL East. That would be my 2.
Young TikTok stars. And for Lester,
what's the line?
Lester would be saxophones for 600, please, or anything music. Lester would dominate. Right?
Yeah, I would hope.
Rebounders, rebounding machines,
rebounders for 800.
Things that bounce.
Rebounder, rebounder again. Anyway, there was a bad one the other night. I think I might have mentioned this. Would I mention this on the pod last time? Were we talking about Jeopardy? Because the category was like Canadian sports, and I got 1 out of 5 or something. Like that. It was really bad. So anyway, but the Wheel of Fortune, I'm very good at. I believe that we've talked about my game show career that ended tragically on the new Chain Reaction. I believe if I had another chance, I'd be a big winner on the Wheel of Fortune. But in this particular circumstance, I am trying to figure out if the producer right away said no in Pat's ear. And so Pat was just delivering the bad news.
Yeah,
or
probably.
if Pat made the decision on his own.
Pat wanted that Audi. You could see it in his eyes.
Son of a. He and Vanna White were in that car.
Because that's a terrible rule. Like, it sounds like I didn't know that Wheel of Fortune had this rule that you have to kind of say the whole saying together.
In a sentence, yeah.
You can't have a 5-second pause, but come on.
I'm convinced I've seen people have like a 2-second pause. 3, where's the cutoff?
So is Pat making the call that, because it seemed like, you're right, Stoff. Pat seemed to make the call really quickly here.
He's like, no, you don't get these.
Yeah. But there's got to be
doing it a long time. He'd probably feel pretty cocky about making those kind of calls.
Maybe she rubbed him the wrong way too. An earlier question.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe she didn't rub him the right way.
Oh, that's a scandal!
Wow.
Only on season 8.
Breaking news.
Good news, however, is that Audi seized this marketing opportunity and gave her a car anyway.
Oh,
as
very
they
good.
should have, which is smart.
It's also a no-brainer. I mean,
right, of course. But rare bad. That would be probably, by the way, my dream job. I think is to host a successful syndicated game show. I think that is the single best job in show's business.
What about Wheel of Fortune Canada? Why don't you bring it here?
I talked to our boss, Stu Johnson, about Jeopardy Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do a Canadian Jeopardy?
Wipeout, Jimmy. Wipeout Canada.
Canadian Wipeout.
Yep. You can call it, and the 3 of us will go through the course and drown.
Or maybe we bring back Chain Reaction. Because Ken Jennings hosts Jeopardy, I would be the perfect host for the new Chain Reaction.
Because you were on it, yeah. I like
Come to think of it, there's Family Feud Canada. Why wouldn't there be Jeopardy Canada? In fact, in all these years, especially with God bless our dearly departed Alex Trebek, you would think they would have launched something in Canada just because of his connection to Canada.
Yeah.
Our beloved boss, Stu Johnson, I asked him about this. I literally did a couple months ago, and he said there was a discussion about it at some point, but he said I'll look into it for you, Jimmy. He never got.
He said we're talking to Glenn Sheila.
Why not do a sports version of Jeopardy?
Again, something I believe ESPN may have tried.
Yeah, wouldn't that beat the
Stomp the Schwartz or whatever?
Stomp the Schwab. Stomp the Schwab.
But actually. But you're right, Stock. Actually label it Jeopardy. Like, why Jeopardy makes so much money? Why would they not spin off?
And you could have all kinds of little categories that really delve into it. It'd be
Oh, interesting. What else you got on here, Stoff? Sorry, go ahead, Lester. What were you going to say?
I was going to say this category, shows not coming to Canada. What is Jeopardy? That is correct.
Funny. Lester once, as he always does, brought it all together in one little circle. He closed the circle.
Now no more Jeopardy talk.
Nope, no more Jeopardy talk. R.I.P. Betty White. Do you have more to say on Betty White, or we did Betty White?
We did Betty. Wonderful person. Rest in peace. Obviously passed, I think, 17 days before her 100th birthday.
17 days, yes.
Which obviously unfortunate. I saw someone out there tweet out that her 100th birthday. They had a special 100th birthday magazine, I guess they put out, and already hit the shelves. So they were just saying it was perfect comedic timing on
her part.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you guys see? There's plenty of little bites that were running around, but one of my favorites was, and I don't know if they shot this after the proposal or during the proposal, or years after they filmed the proposal, the Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds movie that had Betty White in it. So it was a behind the scenes thing where she's just being a total jerk to Ryan Reynolds, but when everybody else is around, she acts like the sweet old lady.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
Brian.
Ryan. My name is Ryan.
Get me a cup of coffee.
No, my name's Ryan. We've been working together for weeks. Months, actually. Months now.
Dan, you've been a terrible assistant that whole time. Betty White says she wants a cup of coffee. You get her a cup of coffee. You ab-crunching jackass.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is, okay? You seem like an adorable, sweet old lady on the outside, but on the inside, you're like this seething demon. You hear me? Why don't you suck a hot Yeah. Yeah, that's right, everybody. I told Betty White to go suck a hot
Ryan!
Like, she's out of her mind. Sandy,
Ryan!
I'm tired of it.
Make him stop. All I said was, he reminds me of my grandma.
Look at her finger right there.
Yeah, it's really well done.
She must be 90 at that point in time, somewhere between 85 and 99. Yeah. And she's giving him the finger behind the backs of Sandra Bullock.
Just the sharp wit that she had still at that age.
It's
what age? What
current
age
comedy. Current comedy she was able to do, which is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
We can't even do current comedy. I'm doing 100-year-old Abe Lincoln jokes.
But like, when is it become really funny? Like, what age are you when you become really funny by doing things that younger people do?
Current things. Yeah.
I'm hoping about right now.
Yeah.
Right about TikTok. Yep.
But like, when you hear an old person like swear, it's hilarious. Or talk about sex, it's hilarious. But I'm like, what age is that?
Why do you think people watch the pod? Because we're old. we're already there. Hey, kids find it hilarious when there's a 45-year-old man talking about masturbating several times a day.
True. Hey, get some hope. They still got 25 years.
First of all, very, very sad to see that she's passed away. I happened to catch the 2010 episode of Saturday Night Live on the weekend. And honestly, aside from her performances, very, very funny show. And that her performance on that show came about entirely from a Facebook write-in campaign saying that they wanted her to host the show, which is amazing. So I think that's the power of social media very early on in 2010. So that was very cool. And I encourage you to check that out. Anybody who hasn't seen that show, very, very funny clips on YouTube. The other thing I was going to say is that her birthday would have been January 17th, and that is the same day that Muhammad Ali was born. And I find that interesting because I think that, obviously for different reasons, but Ali, very, very famous, very, very world beloved, and for standing up to the U.S. government and again, just all the things that he did with his power and his platform. And Betty White was very much the same. So,
do you believe there's a link between people born on the same day?
I'm not sure. I believe there's a link. There is a link, but I just find it interesting that these two people that were such worldwide figures. At least I don't know if I could. I don't know if I'd say worldwide.
I only asked because White. I have the same birthday as OJ, so I don't know.
Did you guys see OJ ripping Antonio Brown? And what he did was, I think the word he used was unforgivable.
You don't want to act like that. You don't want to be remembered for something like what Antonio Brown did. Yeah.
Oh my God. Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So also another death this week. BlackBerry
less serious, but yes. Oh. Yes, BlackBerry no longer supported after January 4th. Notable users, of course, Kim Kardashian, I'm sure crushed. But another notable user, a friend of the podcast we recently had on, one Matthew Cause, who I text this morning saying, I just sent him a link to the tweet and wrote "thinking of you," to which he texts back, "Rest in peace, my sweet prince." So
now,
BlackBerry's no more.
How has BlackBerry kept its value though as a company? Because it's something in the software must still be valuable because BlackBerry
probably sell it off to other companies. There's probably rights.
BlackBerry went on a run last year, almost like a meme stock for a while.
Yeah, but was that one of those GameStop runs? Or
I don't know.
Someone manufactured, I guess.
I
guess the real question is, does this kill the Coyotes from coming to Hamilton?
Jim Balsillie is the name you're looking for.
Make it 7.
Yeah. He was a big deal for a bit there.
Oh, he was a very, very, very wealthy man. He probably still is, but I don't know if he got out when he sold his shares.
You know what? Listen, it's a sad day because that if you guys remember, BlackBerry was it. And then Apple came out with the iPhone and just obliterated BlackBerry in a very, very short space.
I will say this: I still preferred the actual little keyboard. I think I made much less typing mistakes than I do on my iPhone, where I make a gazillion, as you guys know.
And that actually
from my
kept me
text.
from switching originally because I preferred the BlackBerry, the same thing. It was a lot easier to type. But after a while, the iPhone was just able to do so much other cool stuff that BlackBerry really lacked. And that's
old guys talking about BlackBerry is another thing that draws the young kids to the podcast.
Love it.
Hey, I can honestly say
next
I never
week's
had a
guest,
BlackBerry.
Alexander Graham Bell.
Did you guys all have BlackBerry? Obviously, you did. Jimmy, you did too. Did you have one?
I had one for work. I had one of the original ones for. I used to do process serving, and they gave us BlackBerries, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I never had a phone for a long time.
Remember when the iPhones got massive for a while?
Yeah,
they got giant. And it was our old boss Phil King, who, by the way, just retired from Sony. Best of luck to Phil King. I was a big fan of Phil.
Beauty.
So actually might not be out yet.
I have one of the big ones too.
Anyway, no, but it was halfway between the little phone currently and an iPad probably. And Phil King told me it's great. You can see everything, and you got a screen. If you're watching, you don't need an iPad. Maybe it was before the iPad, but it was
carrying around a television set.
It did not fit quite in your jeans pocket, and that was the death for me. I had it for about 6 months. I'm like, this is the stupidest phone ever, because you're going to a bar with basically a half an iPad in your hand.
You get one of those really cool clips on your hip.
Yeah.
You want to be that guy at the bar.
I think I did have that too. Yeah, embarrassing. You know what? We didn't talk about the World Juniors, so before we get to listener mail, that was a crappy day. I was texting with you guys as it was happening, and it sucked. It's such a big part of what we do at TSN. It's such a big part, I think, from what I heard from most Canadians, that we all know it's a big part of people's holidays. That frankly, once you get through Christmas, there's nothing to do on the holidays. And so I think the World Juniors fills a big void. And I think it crushed people more than maybe they expected, because COVID was depressing enough. And then you had this thrown into it. Did anybody have any questions?
Was just that once they had everyone there, people thought they would push through the tournament no matter what. And
which is kind of what I thought, although I will say,
I think a lot of us believe that. I guess
Bobby and I, when we got on the plane, we're like, what are the chances this tournament finishes? And we both agreed it was 50-50 or less that it finished. And I will say this. I know there was a lot of ire towards Hockey Canada or the IIHF, where, that somehow they botched this. And first of all, from the player's perspective, I completely understand all the frustration. If you're 19 years old, one time you get to play this in your life, you've done everything they've told you, you've worked for your whole life for this, you've trained for a month, you've gotten vaccinated, you've stayed in a virtual bubble in Edmonton or Red Deer, and you're perfectly healthy, and your teammates who have the thing are asymptomatic, and somehow your tournament's canceled. That does not make any sense. I completely understand that frustration. When you hear it that way, it makes no sense whatsoever. But whenever somebody says this was screwed up, I say, well, what would you have done? And so when people say bubble, well, you should have bubbled it. Well, you can't. First of all, you have to make a decision on a bubble about 2 months previous to really bubble properly. People think, oh, just bubble it. People were texting at me halfway through the tournament. Bubble it. Just bubble it. You can't just bubble something. Yeah. You can't kick 600 people out of hotels that already have reservations. No. Like when we were in the bubble last year, you would not believe the level of prep that took. There are basically, they put up giant fences outside the hotels. It is a true bubble where you cannot go anywhere except in the situation. You have employees who have to sort of live in the bubble. And so
there's also costs to doing something like that, obviously, right?
Now, if they had made that decision, let's say December 1st or November 20th, whenever the first signs of Omicron were coming, maybe they could have pulled it off. But, they had a conference call, I believe, November 30th or December 1st. And all of the Hockey Canada people were telling them about the rules. And all of the other federations said, these rules are too strict. We don't want to come here if you're going to. So for them to now turn around and then blame, it's a little bit of a dicey thing, because they were all complaining this is too strict. We want it to be,
those other federations, they don't want it too strict. You had those Russian players smoking on the plane like it was 1962.
I can't believe it.
I love those Russian kids.
It's just, it was just so on brand. It's unbelievable. I get their frustration though. If it had happened, if the tournament was in Florida or probably any place south of the border, it would have
Florida,
finished.
they'd still be playing, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, they'd all.
Yeah, no doubt.
They would have. As we're taping this today, I think
Be a
it's
semifinal today.
Semifinal day. But I don't know that there was an answer is what I was finishing off, Lester. So it's easy to throw blame around. I guess the only real blame you could throw at would be at the whole Canadian situation and the Canadian governments for the restrictions that we have, if you feel that way. But it was a tough one because, and everyone says, well, the other valid question, I'm sorry, Lester, I'll get to you in a second, is only 4 positive tests. How can you pull a tournament when there's only been 4 positive tests? But the problem was, and there was 5 the next day, is if you have 1 positive test, the team's out for 24 hours. And if then there's another positive test, they test twice in that 24 hours. If there's another positive test, you're gone for another 24 hours. And so they would not have finished this tournament. They would have run out of runway.
Or you would have had a bunch of either disqualifications by forfeit or whatnot. And that's also
the
not
integrity
the way you want to do it.
I would have, as I was telling you guys that day, I wanted them to push on for at least one more day and see if they could pull through. In the end, they would have never finished the tournament.
Or they could have just
sucks.
said, we're testing and not really testing.
You mean just lie about the whole thing?
Lie about the whole thing. That could
The
never
Russians
backfire.
would have been on board with that.
That wouldn't have been a scandal if it spread.
No, it would have been a scandal.
Not kidding.
So now are Finland the gold medal winners since they had 9 points?
Austria, I believe Austria is. Here's the other thing. This idea of a Summer World Juniors, when they first brought it up, sounded crazy to me. Although Luc Tardif, the president of IHF, was very, firm in his word to sitting next to Bob and I that he was going to judge me and then judge me in a couple of months. I'll make this happen. I've really fallen in love with the idea of a Summer World Juniors. Like if we're talking Moncton Halifax, I think is going to get the next World Juniors. I truly believe that. The next one in Canada.
Cut into your golfing?
Yeah, Jimmy.
That's the one. That's the one downer. But you could have 7 a.m. round. Get to the rink around 2, no problem.
Nothing's lost, of course.
Little trip to Cabot. But let's say Halifax and Moncton in the summer in July. Halifax is a gorgeous summer town. Most Canadian cities are great in the summer. But on the water, everybody out all day having fun, and then you go into the rink at night. That would be a blast.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to suggest Halifax, Moncton, smaller rink because you may not be able to fill a 20,000 seat arena in the summer. It's not like I don't think the ratings will be quite as high. I don't think that the attendance might be quite as high, but you get the smaller rinks like a junior rink. I think it would be fantastic atmosphere. My other suggestion would be that you keep the stats that have already happened. Forget the forfeited games. That wasn't fair anyway. But the games that were actually played. So Connor Bedard's 4 goals and Power's hat trick and the Swedish goalie Wallstadt's brilliant play and Matvei Mishkov's 3 goals. All that stays and you pick the tournament up. So therefore, you only have a 7 or 8 day tournament to get in. You don't have to do the full 11, 12 days. I think they've gotten 3 days basically in. So those are my 2 suggestions. Make it happen. Go ahead.
And then shoot over to Cabot.
Yes.
I was just going to say that and my brother made this point to me just about the holidays in general is that, up until very early December, it seemed like everything was cool. We're going to have a normal Christmas, whatever, right? And then, games started falling off of the NHL. And then, you're hearing more about this and lockdowns and people getting sick and everything. So by the time you got to Christmas Day, it was like, oh, man, this is a drag. So definitely without the NHL, in certain markets anyway, and then having this prospect of the juniors, I mean, people will really look forward to it. I had a number of people text me and say, hey, listen, this is such a drag. I'm bitterly disappointed.
Also, during that stretch, Lester, to your point, the NHL pulled out of the Olympics, which was another blow essentially in that sense. So, I think it definitely was a compounding effect for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it was a weird. I was so equipped for this juniors because I was determined. I knew how bad Omicron was getting, and I was determined not to get it because if we tested positive, like poor Mark Masters. But he did it right. He got the worst timing, actually, because he tested positive the day it was canceled. So he's still, as we sit here in an Edmonton hotel room, I was determined not to test positive. So I literally was in my room or on that set, nowhere else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last night after the tournament got canceled, I went to the lobby and had a couple of Bobby margaritas with Bobby. But so I brought all this food. Like I brought like a suitcase full of food. I was like living off cereal and protein bars essentially, but I never left my room, and I was ready to hunker down. I could have hunkered down there for a month. I could have lived. I was like Survivor Man.
Did you have your hand warmers?
Except in a Weston. Packed my hand warmers. I checked luggage this time because I've learned my lesson. People. Anyway, RIP to the World Juniors. Let's hope we get it in the summer. Was a good time. I got to decide to you if I should tell you the O-Dog story. Maybe I can tell you it right now and we can edit it out if I'll check with O-Dog. This is a 100% unfabricated story. Arden,
I know this story.
TSN MVP, by the way, one of the most talented, smartest people at TSN. She basically, along with Paul Graham, runs the World Juniors and takes care of literally everything for everybody. So after Mark Masters had tested positive on the last day, O-Dog you could go down to the lobby and have breakfast, one person per table, 6 feet apart, whatever. I did not do that. O-Dog and Mark Masters were having breakfast at next tables. So O-Dog was concerned maybe he would have contracted the virus after Mark tested positive. So Arden got him a rapid test. So she was on the phone explaining the rapid test situations to him and how to do the rapid test. And who, of course, as a guy who was a junior hockey star in the NHL, is basically a 10-year-old and has had everything done for him his entire life. So O-Dog, she's explaining this to him, and she says, but seriously, O-Dog, if you're 6 feet, you're going to be fine. And O-Dog goes, oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay. He goes, I'm 6'2". She goes, what? He goes, I'm 6'2", so I can't get COVID. She goes, no, O-Dog, 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. He thought she was telling him that because he was over 6 feet, he could not get COVID.
And I love how he's like,
God.
oh, thank God. He just learned this information.
I know. Imagine being 2 years into the pandemic and realizing you were fine the whole time. You were never going to get it.
You didn't have to worry about it.
Now, O-Dog is a very smart guy, really. So I wonder if he's just playing a huge game with me and Arden on this, but
no.
He says he was dead serious. And he allowed Arden to tell me the story. So I share it with you. We'll see if it lives. Listener mail.
Rubber Boots Podcast. Listener mail. Listener mail. Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Alrighty. We put out our special holiday What You Watching last week.
Yes, we did.
And in the middle of it, we also had near the end, had a 10 countdown for the New Year's Eve special.
Yeah, so it's really touching.
Also, yeah, very touching. We put up the time. You should sync it up in case you wanted to celebrate at midnight. And Andrew Arsenal says he did. I totally synced up the Rubber Boots pod on New Year's Eve. Since we're in super COVID lockdown in Nova Scotia, I had nothing better to do. Yeah, clearly.
Manage us.
I mean, it's the best pod ever. So.
That's why I want the World Juniors to come to Nova Scotia, just for Andrew Arsenal. That's why I'm lobbying. He will be my guest of honor at one of the games. Now it will be like an Austria-Swiss game or something, not in one of the Canada games. I can't.
And you'll be completely
and you won't be there.
That's right.
That guy only do the Canada games.
Yeah, I won't be at the game. He will be a special guest of Laura Dykin and Dave Reed.
No, but Andrew can come and sit with you because he's over 6 feet tall. So
yeah, that's right.
Nothing to worry about.
It's all safe.
He's safe.
It's very safe.
See, now you have to cut out that joke. You have to cut out the whole story. It's all screwed.
I've done that.
You know what? Just
leave it a lot.
Leave it in. What's he gonna do? O-Dog gets mad at me for 2 days, and I say, "Get lost." He's right. Who cares?
He'll be fine. Our friend Jeff Laughlin writes in regarding Puffy's murderous tale from 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Oh, when he drove the young lady home. Yes,
and she was never.
Did she end up murdered? We didn't get the.
I haven't heard.
Story.
I have not heard.
Okay.
Okay.
Cold case, from what I understand.
Cold case. It's already a cold case.
Jeff Laughlin writes in, Puffy needs a dash cam. All the alibi you need to drive all kinds of coworkers, old lady shoppers, and hitchhikers.
Well, that's true.
So there you go.
Correct.
By the way, a friend of mine listened to that podcast where I mentioned driving the old lady home from the store, and he said that could have been my grandmother. She used to ask people for rides home all the time. So
very cool.
Wow, the whole world's connected.
Oh,
it's true.
Exactly. Through this very podcast. We have Adam Young tweeting in a gift his family got him.
Yes.
Beautiful, shining pair of
rubber boots.
Very
In honor.
cool.
Did he ever say, was it in honor of the podcast?
I mean, why else would anyone?
Why else would you want rubber boots? Useless.
Our friend Yura, Happy
Yes.
Lion, sends in a video here, and he says, "This is what I believe happens whenever there's an edit on the Rubber Boots podcast."
Because I'll run this football club until I'm told otherwise by the circus upstairs. And if you come back at me, you'll be off the field and you'll be following Terry down the road. So if I'm going to take abuse from a bunch of cockroaches behind me, I'll take abuse by doing it my way. And that is conformity, not non-conformity. So you little when I tell you to do something, and you big when I tell you to do something, do it. And if you come back at me, we'll have a right sort out in here. Alright? And you can pair up if you like, and you can pick someone else to help you, and you can bring your dinner. Because by the time I'm finished with you, you'll need it.
He's not far off.
For some reason, when Englishmen start to curse and everything in that accent, it's just so funny.
Oh, I
In
think
my
everything's
opinion.
better in that accent.
And he dropped the
true.
C sharp too, which was funny.
Guys, if I'm involved in the World Cup coverage by TSN next year, 2022 Qatar, should I adopt a British accent? Would that help my credibility?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Can
it
if I
would.
practice?
Are you going to
it
say
right now-
Qatar or Qatar?
Well, Qatar apparently is what you're supposed to say. That's what the news people say. Qatar.
Really?
So, Qatar, James Duffy reporting live from Qatar. I'm alongside Christian Jack. How's that, Puffy?
Nice. I like
Wow.
that.
Big Christian Jack fan.
Great.
TikTok.
So, how was that though? Overall, he's got good pace.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, you're
Not bad.
rubbish. You were rubbish yesterday. You're rubbish
bad.
today. You're not good.
Not bad. Shout out to Alistair Johnson on Team
that's
Canada,
right.
who was traded from Nashville to. He's I don't know if I've talked about it on the pod. Alistair is lives near me. I see his parents every day on our walks with Hugo, and incredible genes in that family. Two athletes who spawned. I've told you that Malcolm, his younger brother, is one of Darian's best friends, also a great footy player who will end up on Canada. There's a scouting report, Malcolm Johnson. Alistair has become, I would say, he doesn't get a profile because he's not as dynamic as Alphonso Davies,
It's been
but
fantastic.
fantastic player. Alistair, good dude. And
Canadian soccer
going
looking
to
very
Canada
well, by the way.
Really
It really
Very
is.
well.
It really is.
Junior Holett scoring 2 goals yesterday.
I saw
His
one more
English
thing
team,
on
so-
listener mail. Ravi asked if we remembered when we were when the Bills clinched their playoff berth 4 years ago.
Yeah,
No, Ravi,
he sent
that's
in,
not
like-
exactly a remember where I was moment.
He sent in this video of the Bills celebrating. I'm assuming.
Do any of us remember where we were when we saw that?
I know where I was. I was on
remember
the couch
sit-
watching
it.
football.
Yeah, I was watching
Yeah.
football.
I do remember.
It was a great moment.
Might have been scratching myself.
And Ravi, I'm not making fun of your love for the Bills. It's just that there's probably about 5 sports moments in my life that I remember when I was. Mario Gretzky in '87. I was in Oliver's Pub. We just won the touch football championship at Carleton. Thank you. The Crosby goal, sitting 10 feet away. Mike Tyson gets knocked out by Buster Douglas. I was drunk at the Chateau Lafayette in Ottawa. Dave
Nice.
Shaw, my Jamaican friend, the breakdancing champion of Ottawa, came in and said, "Jimmy," because this is the way he talked. He said, "Jimmy, Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson." I'm like, "Are you Shaw? You're kidding me right now." That's 3. Trying to think of anything else. Ben Johnson, 979. I was at some university house with a bunch of guys watching that one. You guys got any other ones? Joe Carter home run. I was at Brooksy's house. We just started dating, I believe. All my friends were over.
Wow.
Really?
October 1993.
And then all the other stuff, the good stuff, I was there, right? All the other good stuff, I was there, right?
Of course.
You got any? Am I missing any? Am I missing any? When the Eagles won the Super Bowl,
Obviously.
I was there, Stuff. Where were you? In your house cheering on the Eagles.
Crying.
Joey Bats home run.
Joey Bats home run. Do not remember that one.
I was there.
I was at home. I was here at home. I would say
was
for
at home.
93 when the Habs won the cup, I was at my parents' place at the time. I still lived there at the time. That was great. But for interesting fun fact, for both World Series, I was dating a girl in Waterloo, and I was in Waterloo visiting her both times when the Jays won.
Really?
Wasn't in Toronto. Yeah.
Can I make a confession? The shot would be another one. Kawhi's shot, right?
Yeah.
I did not see the shot live.
No.
As a person who hosted the NBA Finals that year, I feel somewhat shame in that. And I was never going to admit it to somebody, but I feel confident admitting it to you guys now. And the reason I did not see the shot live was
not
because
watch basketball at that time.
I just picked it up a week. I picked it up a week later.
You're like, ooh, interesting. There's some buzz about
finals,
this
you
new
say?
sport. California.
You may or may or not remember that the night of the shot happened at the exact same time of a critical episode of the Game of Thrones.
They're going to say Grey's Anatomy.
Where the Night King gets, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, gets killed by... So in my household, so I'm watching that game and the Game of Thrones is on, and it's a tradition. Brooksy and I always watch Game of Thrones together with Jared and his girlfriend. We'd do it in the basement. It was like a thing that we did, like that whole, 4 seasons or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I got guilted by my wife. And in my head, I'm like, Brooksy, I work for TSN. I'm probably going to do, like, if the Raptors keep going here, I got to watch this game. So I watched as much of the game as I could. Then I went down and watched the Game of Thrones, and she said, just PVR. You can't give me a reason why you can't PVR.
That's
and
true.
In normal times, she's right. So I came up and watched, I think, the last quarter and a half or whatever I missed on PVR. So I yelled. I had a primal scream when Kawhi hit the shot, but it was about 45 minutes later than everybody else. Admitted. There you go. I'm not alone. Tell me, listeners, I'm not alone out there. We didn't know. You didn't know it was going to end that way. The Raptors could have won by 12. Joel Embiid could have gone off. The Sixers could have won.
I know, but Jimmy, if you're
Game
a fan,
7 in the
if you're a
playoffs.
fan, you're sitting there. Yeah, Game 7, you're watching
every moment.
These
You're
are the
watching every moment.
sacrifices you don't understand. These are the sacrifices you make to make a marriage work. And clearly, none of you understand that.
No,
and that's why yours is failing. Yours is bound to fail. And your new relationship, you better understand that if you want to make it work.
Hold on. I'm bound to fail, right?
Not there yet, right?
I'm not, because the failing is.
I actually just wanted to go back to Puffy mentioned the bat flip. For me, the bat flip is just an interesting thing because I remember that series being in Toronto. I remember how difficult it was to get the tickets. I remember how barely anyone was able to get in there. But now whenever this thing comes up, I think the Rogers Center fits something like 52,000 people.
51,000.
There's at least 200,000 people who claim to have been at that game.
To be there. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
And there's people I've heard tell the story I know weren't there. It's one of the
Really?
most hilarious phenomenons I've ever witnessed before.
It's the same with the gold medal game. It's 2010. I hear same thing. Everybody does that.
Everyone was in the building all of a sudden. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's funny you're saying. I mean, I know so many people who were at the game, but actually saw them there. Like a lot of my friends had bought those flex packs or whatever you could buy.
Right.
Just to get tickets. And then I have
a guy I know. He
always
booked the
get
hotel in there. Apparently, one of the last rooms available. And that was
have you ever stayed in the hotels there? They're actually really good for watching games.
Yeah, Brooksy and I did early in our courtship. We were the couple,
nice.
that famous couple that was naked,
Of course.
in Brooksy. I remember where I was that night when that happened.
Yeah.
Well,
I was at
to answer your question, Robbie.
Yeah, I remember.
We all remember. You think Robbie's the guy who jumps through tables?
Yes, he's definitely a mafia.
He's hit a table.
Look, we've been doing this too long, and we may or may not have something else to do.
We should split this into 2 parts.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Why don't we make our second part air next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Because I still have Darian's hypotheticals and Jimmy's summer adventures. Why don't I give you the Darian's hypothetical, which is not really hypothetical, and you guys can have a week to answer it.
Okay. Also work.
It's not really a hypothetical. It's not as genius as some of her ideas, but she said this to me. She said, ask the boys. She said, you have committed a crime.
Okay.
Everyone in the media is talking about your crime. It's everywhere. It's on your CNNs. It's all over the place. This is the #1 trending topic. And you're on the lam from the police. What do you want your crime to be? Not really a hypothetical. It's more of a
You know
question.
what? This would be actually a great hypothetical for
Do they know
the thing we're about to tape.
that I
So maybe we should have cut that
So
off.
perhaps, no, Puffy, don't answer now. Save your answer for next Tuesday for a very special What You Watching.
Okay.
Is that the end of the pod?
I hope so.
Holy crap! How long have we been doing this for?
Yeah,
it's like
it feels like 3 weeks.
How are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask ya. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Oh, I know it's a little strange, but my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank or the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Do you really like the dunk tank at the fair? Dunk tank.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?